Okay, I'll just give out the details of some of the happenings in relation to the NSCN Niki group in the last couple of days on the issue of abduction of two individuals and thereafter the subsequent developments. Let me put it in a little start with the correct perspective. The ceasefire with NSCN Niki was signed in September 2021 and thereafter it has been extended lately in September of 2024 for a period of 1 more year. The ceasefire is signed with the aim of bringing in peace on the ground, mutual understanding and also trust amongst the parties so that the Naga political issue discussions which are happening between the groups and the government of India can proceed in an atmosphere of peaceful environment prevalent on the ground rather than in an environment of violence which will exist if two people are pointing guns and at each other and trying to resolve issues. NSCN Niki, while signing the ceasefire, has committed to the ceasefire ground rules which are laid down, and these ground rules are well enumerated and known to all the parties. The ceasefire ground rules are monitored by a ceasefire supervisory board, of which I am the chairman, but the ceasefire supervisory board consists of 6 representatives from the government of India side and 6 representatives from NSCN Niki, which is there. The representatives from the government of India side consists of DGP Nagaland, the Inspector General of Assam Rifles North, who's there, the Commissioner Nagaland, and also the CRPF DIG, also a representative from MHA, which is there. And similarly, there are 6 people on the NSCN Niki side which see the overseeing of the implementation of the ceasefire ground rules. I am the chairman of this body which sees the execution and implementation of these ceasefire ground rules. Now, in this particular incident which has happened, the ceasefire supervisory board has consulted each other on the subject, and NSCN Niki has been found violative of certain provisions of the ceasefire ground rules which are there. They've been held accountable for violation of the ceasefire ground rules and also of the misuse of the ceasefire office which has been allocated to them in Dimapur for purposes other than what it has been given to them, that is to undertake activities related to particular implementation of the ceasefire. The group has been questioned. I have received representation from the Dimapur Au Youth and various other organizations on the subject of carrying out or apprising me of this particular incident, and also requesting the office of the ceasefire supervisory board to take action on the subject. to see that the culprits are brought to book. The NSCN Niki, after having been held accountable, has been asked for what actions have been taken on the subject. The group in writing has committed to the ceasefire supervisory board that they are ready to, or they will adhere to all the ceasefire ground rules what have been agreed upon by them and the government of India, and they will make all efforts to see that the culprits are brought to book, because the individuals may have acted in their individual capacity, which is there, and also they will not be an obstruction to the law enforcement agencies, especially the Dimapur or the Nagaland police, for carrying out these actions of arresting the culprits and bringing them to the book. The NSCN Niki has also been asked to see that they apprehend these individuals at the earliest and bring them and hand them over to the Nagaland police for necessary action as per the law which is there. Meanwhile, the DGP Nagaland, who is also a part of the complete ceasefire supervisory board, has been asked to take mayors on priority to see that these culprits are arrested and they are brought to book on early time frame. The DGP has assured that they will take action, and they have been taking action on the subject, and in the same mayors, they had already carried out search of the NSCN Niki office, which was facilitated by the ceasefire supervisory board, and also carried out raids at various other places for apprehending these people who have undertaken this criminal act of carrying out an abduction. The police have also carried out or issued out a lookout notice for apprehension of these individuals, and anyone providing information for the apprehension of these will be suitably rewarded by the police. We have urged the DGP Nagaland, and he has assured as part of the ceasefire supervisory board that action on priority will be taken to apprehend these individuals and see that they are brought to book. The group, once again I will say, has also committed to follow and adhere to all ceasefire ground rules, and also see that if they are able to get in touch with these individuals, because presently these individuals who have done this act are also not in touch with the group. They have gone and somewhere hiding. The group has also been urged to get in touch with the group at the earliest and bring them and hand them over to the police for suitable action, which the group has assured that they will make all endeavors to do that. So that is the present situation for the time being, and we will continue as the ceasefire supervisory board mechanism with part of all the members to see that the culprits are apprehended at the earliest and brought to book on this subject of carrying out violations of the ceasefire ground rules. So that is the situation, that is the status which is there presently, and we will continue to press upon all the rightful agencies to see that we take this issue to their logical end. Thank you.
Sir, I have a question. As of presently, we have around 26 Naga political groups, and as per the information, only 5 have signed ceasefire agreement with the government of India. What about the rest 21, or maybe even more or even less? Whose authority will they fall under?
The government, my ceasefire mechanism, with each group with whom the government of India has signed the ceasefire agreement, there is a written ceasefire ground rules existing to follow and undertake actions as per the ceasefire ground rules. The government of India has signed only ceasefire agreement with 5 groups with whom the government of India is in negotiation. I am not aware of where the balance groups who are not in ceasefire draw their support from, how do they survive, how do they or where do they get the mandate, who has given them the mandate, but they are definitely not in the mandate with the ceasefire mechanism, and they are not part of the ceasefire. So where do they function from? How do they survive? How do they draw their support from? I am absolutely not concerned. My mandate is limited to see that ceasefire is followed with the groups with whom the government of India has signed the ceasefire, and I will see that my mandate is followed with all the members of the ceasefire supervisory board, which I have already enumerated that they are part of the thing, and we will see that ceasefire ground rules are followed, and if any group violates those ceasefire ground rules, they are held accountable in these terms of carrying out lawful action against those people who violate the ceasefire ground rules.
Sir, one question.
Just one question. With due respect, are you saying in record that you are not aware of the other factions that are present in Nagaland apart from the 5 that have signed the ceasefire agreement with the government of India? Are you saying on record, sir?
The factions may be present. I am not saying that other factions are not present. They are not part of the ceasefire mechanism today. There are large number of political groups which are there, whether it is a civil society organization or whether it is a political group. There are number of political groups existing within Nagaland also. They may be existing. I am not saying that they don't exist. I am only saying that they are not part of the ceasefire mechanism. They are not mandated under our ceasefire mechanism. Our political groups, we do not have a ceasefire in terms of ceasefire. I am sure you all know the meaning of ceasefire. When there is a stoppage of fire, we consider these 5 groups with whom the government of India is in ceasefire to have a military capability to fire. Over and above that, if there are other political groups existing, whether in Nagaland, who represent the Naga people, I have nothing to say on that, because I do not control them, I do not provide them any ceasefire related facilities, and they do not fall under my purview to monitor or to carry out any engagement with them.
Okay, one question. I'll read out from the CFGR. Clause 11. It says, the NSCN will refrain from extortions, forcible collection of money and supplies, and intimidation of individuals, including government officials. Now, and there's number 15, clause 15. Security forces will retain the right to enforce measures necessary to uphold public safety and prevent any disturbance to peace. Now, what steps have you taken to enforce this clause 15?
See, I have already told you what we have done on this particular incident. The DGP Nagaland, they are the ones who are part of the ceasefire mechanism which is there, and the DGP has been requested to see the law and order maintenance is also the responsibility of the Nagaland police as much as any other security forces. The DGP has been requested to see that people who have violated and disturbed the public security or the public peace, especially in this case, the DGP has made or committed that they will arrest these people at the earliest, and I am sure the police is making all efforts to see that with all these things, to see that these people are arrested who have disturbed the public peace, and they are arrested at the earliest and brought to book as per the law.
On the other hand, the police are claiming that their hands are tied. They cannot take action on any of the cadres when they are in their designated brigade.
Let me also make it very clear. The chairman is a chairman of a body. The chairman is not an individual who functions. The chairman functions as chairman of a ceasefire supervisory board, which is there. And all members of that ceasefire supervisory board, if I read out to you the ceasefire ground rules which are there, if you see number 2, enforcement of the ground rules will be the responsibility of Government of India. The Government of India and the NSCN Niki will jointly implement the ground rules. Issues relating to the implementation of the ground rules will be resolved by a ceasefire supervisory board comprising 6 representatives each of Government of India and NSCN Niki, headed by the chairman. So if I am the chairman of a body which consists of all these people, I am no one to stop anybody from carrying out their duties. Yes, I am only taking views of all the people who are part of the ceasefire mechanism, and once it is ascertained that a party has committed violation of the ceasefire ground rules which are there, necessary action is taken against them. In this particular instance also, the cognizance has been taken that NSCN Niki has carried out violation of the ceasefire ground rules, and as per that, the police has carried out actions to apprehend those people. The police have also even gone to the extent of searching the ceasefire offices of the NSCN Niki group, and our concern is also only to see that in this larger body, when we discuss things, everybody, the underlying principle with which the ceasefire with the NSCN Niki group has been signed, to see that peaceful atmosphere exists and violence does not retain or come back. We also see that there is no violence which is there, but otherwise there are no restrictions on the police. Police wants to get. We only request them to coordinate to see that we do not get into a situation of confrontation with these groups. So that is the only thing when the ceasefire complete mechanism comes, and if there is the requirement of searching any of these premises by the police, complete support will be provided to the police for carrying out any activity of this
So
nature.
you are saying the police can conduct a raid or search any designated camp, right?
See, there is a difference between a designated camp and a ceasefire office.
Okay, so they
See,
can,
there is no ceasefire or there is no designated camp in Dimapur, except for Kihoi camp, which is a designated camp. Otherwise, all the places what has been given out is the ceasefire offices. And that is why if these two people who were abducted and taken there, they have the NSCN Niki has also been held accountable for using the premises which have been given to them for the ceasefire related duties, which have been used by them for unlawful activities. Yes, if there are reports of unlawful activities, we will definitely facilitate the police to carry out any such action in these places also.
you mean the ceasefire supervisor of ceasefire?
Yeah, it's a ceasefire mechanism which is there. I alone don't function in an individual capacity. It's a ceasefire mechanism. Yes, if there is a reports of a place being used for illegal activities, and if the police wants to carry out it, the whole mechanism will facilitate that action.
So just a few days back, NSCN Niki Group held a press conference. They have mentioned that
I think we will limit ourselves presently to this incident, what has happened.
this is only, sir. So they have mentioned that they don't recognize Indian laws. So if so, under which constitution and body was the ceasefire agreement signed? If they don't recognize the Indian laws.
I will not comment on that. I will only comment because for me, the guidelines, for me, everything is what the ceasefire groups or the groups which are there in ceasefire that the government of India have committed to uphold. If they violate any of these provisions which are given out in the ceasefire ground rules, they will be held accountable. Whether they follow their own some constitution or for their own management, I am actually not nobody to comment on that issue. To me, the authority to see that the groups follow the ceasefire agreement signed with the government of India is this ceasefire ground rules and the ceasefire agreement, of which all the agencies are part of it, and we go by this document, and we will see that this document is adhered to by all the groups in letter and spirit.
Sir, one last question from my end. This is just coming back to my previous question. So, in the case, amidst the fact that there are other parties who are not in ceasefire agreement with the government of India, since you are the chairman of the ceasefire monitoring cell, do you have the authority to say that the state police or the Indian Army or the Assam Rifles, whatever it may be, has the authority to go and raid those camps?
So if any of those people carry out any illegal activity,
Yes.
The police is free to take action on that. The ceasefire mechanism is limited to the people with whom the government of India is in ceasefire. If there is anybody else who's carrying out any illegal activity, who's breaking the law, the police is free. There are law enforcement agencies, there are security agencies. I'm sure they all would be upright to take action against those people which is there. To me, my mandate is, like I said, limited to these 5 ceasefire groups with whom the Government of India agencies.
Sir, may you kindly put on record the 5 groups that you are in ceasefire with?
We are in ceasefire with NSCN IM, NSCN Congo, NSCN Reformation, which is there, NSCN Niki, and NSCN Unification. We are in that. Those are the 5 groups with whom we are in ceasefire. My mandate remains limited to these 5 ceasefire groups with whom I deal with. Rest balance, if they indulge in any other illegal or any activity which is against the law, I'm sure the law enforcement agencies will take action.
So under your law, if and when they commit illegal or they violate the law, under which these days Bharat Nyay or whatever this, under which law will they be booked?
See, the people, if the police is making all the efforts to apprehend those people and issue out lookout notices, once the police apprehends them, I don't have to state under what law the Nagaland police will take action against them.
So it's not under your mandate.
See, that is the Nagaland police who will take action against them. If the police is apprehending, you all know what rules and regulations police follow. It is there. The police will take action against them. I don't have to state under what law they have to follow. The police will follow the action.